Hello, my name is Brian, and today I will be debating on the negative side. My main point is that implementing new LAPD community policing strategies will not have a substantial change in the amounts of police on civilian casualties. My three major points are that the cost of hiring new officers is too high. My second point is that race has little to do with the divide between cops and civilians. And my third major point is that creating satellites for gang units will not positively affect the problem with cops on civilian shootings. So to explore my first point, the cost of hiring new officers is too high and not worth a change that isn't proven to work. So they haven't really proven how the policing strategies work, and according to the LAPD, the LAPD annual budget is $1.2 billion. They have approximately 10,000 sworn officers and 4,000 civilians in their workforce. The average salary of a cop is approximately $60,000 a year. So if we wanted to hire just 3,000 more officers, which isn't even half of the amount of officers currently employed, it would cost $180 million. And although this is something that the LAPD might be able to afford, the ideas that the affirmative wants to implement have not been proven to work, so the investment of $180 million is not worth spending. Race has little to do with the divide between cops and civilians. One of the things that the app has proposed is that they want to make the police force more representative racially of the races in said area. This implies that currently race has to do with the divide between cops and civilians and the amounts of police shootings that have occurred. But when we explore this point further, we see that this is false. According to the Los Angeles Times, LAPD and city demographics are as follows. For Hispanics or Latinos, we have 44.6% of the police force is Hispanic or Latino, and for the population, it's 49.3%. For whites or Caucasians, it's 34%, and the population is 28%. For blacks, 11% to 8%. For Asians, 9% to 11%. All of them being closely related, with the major difference being in Caucasian people, with only a 6% difference. So to imply that the reason for the divide being that the police and the public, so to imply that the reason for the divide between the police and the public is based on race is an inaccurate statement. So implementing the strategy of paying attention to the police race in regards to what area they work in is simply a waste of time. And it could easily be other factors like income of said areas, and not just race, because the police to population ratio is pretty even. Now that I've talked about race in the police system, I will talk about creating satellites for gang units and how it will not positively affect the problem with cop on civilian shootings. If the main proposition is to stop police on civilian shootings, having gang units doesn't directly correlate with the problem. The problem is that cops are shooting civilians, so having more gang units that specialize in that won't solve the problem. The final thing that must be pointed out is that the cost of creating new substations is $2 million. The cost for an 11,000 square foot building is $2 million. And if we refer to my first point, we can see that again, we can simply not afford to fund these propositions. Thank you.